Note the disclaimer.
They eat ice grease instead of ice cream because they are like humans, but they are not humans. But why would a robot eat grease? You would use grease on your joints to keep from squeaking. Instead of ice cream, they should have made this an icy hot joke or something.
Like my client Luke Doherty said in his video, grease is shown in this movie as a drink, despite some of the robots pouring it on themselves. It's even served at Mr. Gunk's restaurant when he fired Rodney, so no, this won't work as a pain relief ointment gag.
Robot chicken?
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliché. Arbitrary movie reference.
I'm gonna be a dad! Nothing screams excitement about becoming a father quite like leaping directly into the flow of oncoming traffic.
I mean, it's big news for Herb, and most other expectant fathers have done zanier things.
3.5 kilograms? That's 7.7 pounds. For an entire robot baby and packaging? I'm calling shenanigans. Human babies can weigh around 8 pounds, but not metal babies.
But why should that matter since you yourself said the robots aren't humans, but are like them?
Look, I like puns. Puns are fine, but your comedy can't be all puns.
This mad lad sat down to watch a movie called Robots, and is upset about the fact that robot puns are everywhere? What else were you expecting? Something more polished?
Also, they're not even trying here. This may be the worst example of words on pages I have ever seen. The comprehensive Should I go on? Is this helping anyone learn how to raise a f***ing baby robot?
Ah, so this is where your hyper-observance goes. Into unimportant details like this.
So they just keep giving him new parts as he gets older, and that's how he gets bigger? But when they've replaced all the parts with bigger parts, there's none of the original boy left, is there?
Sinning the ship of Theseus. Also, this robot still retains the same personality.
Also, I will never forgive this movie for making me consider hand-me-down boy parts.
That sounds like a you problem, bud.
Hey, Dad! Who's that?
That, Rodney, is Big Weld.
No, that is a balloon.
True, however, the balloon is supposed to look like Big Weld, and other character balloons, like this, are common. You'll see several of them in Macy's Thanksgiving Day parades with Snoopy, Smurfs, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Bluey.
So he's inventing, and he's invented a robot. His parents just ordered one and it came in a box. It was him, but now the movie's saying there are ways to build sentient robots at home. When you're a child, does inventing in this movie just mean think of a kind of robot that doesn't exist yet that we could all benefit from?
Yes, because Wonderbot was built by Rodney to assist Herb at the restaurant.
These are your 12-year-old parts.
I swear to God, if they start talking about the copper birds and buzzing bees, I'll skip to the end, add a few million sins, and never look back.
But they don't, so this threat is overruled.
Also, there had to be a better way to phrase this parts stuff. What about, these are your bits, or these are your pieces. Here's your wind-up. You see what this movie is doing to me?
Objection argumentative. Parts is the main word for it used in this film, due to the fact that they are robots. I don't think they should change it up at all. Also, Jeremy says boner.
Just to recap a little, the little robot made a smaller robot to help the older robot wash dishes. Rather than inventing an industrial dishwasher.
Herb was previously fitted to be a dishwasher, and he can't really keep himself together anymore, so Rodney created Wonderbot to give him a helping hand. Why would Rodney bother inventing an industrial dishwasher when he knows Mr. Gunk won't approve of it and it might put Herb out of a job?
Look, it seems you can upgrade your parts if your parents have money, and if they don't, you're stuck being hand-me-down and poor. Which is how Rodney's dad is a dishwasher, because that's the best torso part his own parents could afford for him. And this actually speaks directly to income equality in America and how hard it is for any generation raised in poverty to break free of its hold. Even though I think the movie was just going for a cheap you're poor joke.
That's classist. Also, that's not how Herb became a dishwasher. He was put into the field because his father didn't think it would make him any money being a musician.
I'm never gonna be someone here.
You made a movie about an entire robot society and you went with wants to get out of this small town for a hero's motivation.
Well, considering Rodney wants to meet Big Weld Industries is in Robot City, and he's doing most of this to help his father anyway, yeah, that would be a perfect motivation.
I'll make you proud. I know you will.
He says this instead of saying you already have. That's a dad fail right there.
Aw, did someone not have his daddy tell him he was proud of him when he was younger? Also, he's talking about this personal achievement, and meanwhile, he says this at the end of the movie.
But you gave me the most important thing. You believed in me.
From the second you were born.
They repeatedly called this space transport a train.
Well, sure, it's not using tracks like a conventional train would, but it isn't going to space. Also, it was at the Rivettown train station, and stops at the Robot City train station.
Spontaneous dancing?
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliché.
It's a robot doing the robot. Get it? This movie is to humor what Scary Movie 4 is to Airplane.
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliché. Arbitrary movie references. Missing the joke, as per usual.
No one will be seated during the Rube Goldberg Bingo Ball flex portion of the movie.
I mean, I thought this sequence was pretty cool when I was younger.
I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but adjusting your own neck like this is a really bad idea.
Good thing he's a robot, not a human. Right, Jer?
Marble madness.
Arbitrary video game reference.
Jesus, shoe shining Christ, this is supposed to be a regular mode of transportation. This video game might have seemed cool on paper, but it makes zero sense, you fucking dipshit.
Do things in animated films have to make sense? No! Because it isn't our reality.
And by dipshits, I am referring to the 6 credited writers that wrote this movie. Eat my ass.
How ironic.
No worries, we will 100% accidentally bump into his bumper again. I have no doubt. He's voiced by f***ing Robin Williams, man.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you trying to send Robin Williams now? Are we about to have some problems here, buddy?
Can I help you?
This scene, Wizard of Oz, is so hard it makes my ruby slippers get tingly.
Where are you going with this, Jeremy?
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
Objection relevance.
I don't know, guys. I just don't think this is how magnets work.
Once again, this isn't our reality.
This looks as much like a Guitar Hero background as it does a scene from a movie.
Cool, cool. Can you please explain how or why that's a sin?
In a couple of weeks, all those broken down losers out there are going to be nothing but scrap metal.
And after you finish off Big World, there will be nobody out there to fix them.
I would call this a villain expositing their plan for the good guy moment, except there are no good guys here. Just us viewers, so kind of even more egregious.
It's more so that Ratchet wasn't expecting his mother, Madame Gasket, to say she plots on Big World being dead, when he thought him being in exile got him out of the way enough for the plan to work. Hence why he asks, "You want to swing that one by me again?" after she says there'll be nobody fixing the outmodes, and says he isn't any trouble where he is.
What are you afraid of? Grow some bolts.
Balls. She means balls, but this movie doesn't have the bolts to just admit it's an hour and a half of bad puns.
She says bolts here because this is a movie about a world populated with only robots.
Just tip me over and pour me out.
Told you this fool was coming back into the picture.
Yes? And?
Look, 10,000 ball bearings on the floor does not make it a f***ing people mover. Both these robots have already fallen 10 times by now if this movie is being real.
But they didn't, so what's your point?
Just imagine how stupid movies would be if they're all realistic.
Right, it's so cool to see all the Crayola crayon colors back together.
Objection relevance. And this counts as sinning something you like, by the way.
You think you can mess with my big brother? You're kinda cute.
Oh, hell.
Come on, man.
By the way, the name's Piper. Rhymes with Viper.
She wants his hammered-in robot dick.
Jeremy says boner.
The brand new model of the robot torso has 6 f***ing cup holders in the abs section.
Jeremy points things out on the screen cliché.
Beating off your head in public.
Gross.
F***ing hell, here's another needlessly complicated mode of robot transportation.
Pointing things out on the screen. Again.
Jesus Christ, this is some genocidal What the family movie about robots?
So it's a sin for a movie to have dark themes for the kids. So you just want them to be filled with jelly beans and rainbows and not have anything wrong with them? Got it. Well, sorry mate, the world doesn't work that way. The real one, or this animated one.
What happened to your friend?
He's been rear-ended.
Along with the entire plot.
Objection opinion. It is inadmissible to use your opinion as a sin here, especially when several people, like myself, actually enjoy this film.
This movie somehow made $260 million.
Okay, and? Can you explain how it's a sin for a film to make a buttload of money?
Oh man, this is my third oil change today. Something's wrong with me.
So oil changes are now basically poops, and even that is weird, since most humans poop every day and most cars get oil changes every 3 months.
Again, they're like humans, but they aren't. Do I constantly have to remind you of what you said at the beginning of this video?
Somewhere out there beneath the robot sky.
Honestly, I'd rather listen to Doja Cat instead of Jeremy singing.
Real close, listen. No, wait.
Jesus, arm farting Christ, I can't believe this f***ing
Oh, for crying out loud.
You consider me a friend?
Sure, what else would I consider you?
Fender and Rodney just met, so they are barely out of stranger territory. And honestly, Fender should be considered a con artist and a thief far before being a friend. Kid movie contracts must include inexplicable leaps to friendship.
Well, Rodney knocked his head off, so they technically call it even. Plus, Rodney fixed Fender's neck, and Fender gave him a place to stay in Robot City. Sure, it's not realistic by our standards, but once again, this isn't our reality.
Hey kids, get a load of this!
Okay, it's juvenile, but still, sinning this scene.
Never try, never fail. Those are the words I live by.
I believe Aaron Burr said that.
Wrong. As Luke points out, the direct quote is never do today what you can do tomorrow.
Brace yourself. You're about to get very popular.
My friend Jack told me the same thing shortly before I went streaking through the quad.
You're terrible, Jeremy.
Back off! Back off! He's got his own dreams that won't come true.
Wow, this movie made me laugh. You might think I'd remove a sin, but no. Took 43 minutes for a movie co-starring Robin Williams to make me laugh. That's a sin.
Sinning Robin Williams? God damn, you're heartless.
6 writers!
Objection argumentative.
They all chant Rodney, Rodney, but that montage showed that everyone pitched in here, including Fender for some reason. Why is Rodney getting all the praise?
Because he did more of the work, fixing that robot's arm, plunging the toilet, and putting Rusty Dumpty back together.
This movie can't get analogies right at all. Here they're using buffers to stand in for a personal massage, but a buffer isn't massaging anything. It's literally just making shinier. This is the laziest movie since Brown Bunny, and that movie made you watch a car washing and a blowjob in real time.
Okay, what is it with you and road-based erotica? This is the second time I've had to cover something like that in this series. Also, you call this movie lazy, but you never give an explanation as to why it's lazy. Your evidence here is inadmissible, and if this continues, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
I'll tell you what I would expect in a world of metal robots that need constant mechanical attention. I expect that there would be more than one robot who knows how to assemble parts for repair. This movie asks us to believe that the entire city is rescued because one inventive robot knows how to use tools and piece together parts.
Yes, but they've always relied on Big Weld to help them, because he actually cares about the common robot, while Ratchet doesn't and is looking to turn a profit. Plus, not everyone in this city is as resourceful as Rodney, because they've always gotten their parts directly from Big Weld, or from several of the shops that carry his stock.
You, mailbox bot! Get the out of my house! You didn't knock? Jesus.
Jeremy yells at the screen cliche.
Rodney, are you really worried about your dad?
I just want to know the alternative answer to this one. No, I'm not worried about my dad dying. I sort of want him to die, because he's a reminder of the working class, and clearly I am super above that.
But not only would that be harsh, it would also be false, because he still loves his dad. He just can't help him because there's still no spare parts.
Rodney's invention bot gets drunk because the bartender mistakes it for a mixer, and that's hilarious? Why would alcohol make robots drunk? They fucking eat grease!
Alcohol would still have a similar effect on them. And once again, they pour the grease on themselves more so than eating it.
Thanks for walking me home.
Thanks for carrying me up that hill.
Thanks for wasting my fucking time with humorless bullshit.
That, again, sounds like a you problem.
You crazy nut boy.
Crazy about you.
Today I learned robot romance makes me gag.
Once more with feeling, that again sounds like a you problem. Also, you missed the opportunity to say robomance. I would have sinned it either way, but still.
Fender does a Singing in the Rain spoof called Singing in the Oil, and it's offensive to Singing in the Rain, Gene Kelly, and people with good taste. Also, clearly the goal here was to replicate Aladdin's success and let Williams ramble and ad-lib ad nauseum. But the difference is all in the editing. That and having a good story to begin with, and this movie has no story.
First off, misusing the phrase ad nauseum, since the term is used to say something that has been done or repeated so often that it has become tiresome or annoying. Oh, god damn it! Secondly, there is a story here. Rodney wanting to meet his hero Big Weld, but discovering a plot by Ratchet to extort money out of the city's robots by buying expensive upgrades, with the threat that any robot who can't afford them will be outmoded and sent to the chop shop. Thirdly, sinning Robin Williams. Again!
Another Rube Goldberg, but this one is mixed with, get this, an ocean of dominoes that the missing Big Weld surfs in on.
Also, that's not a sin. You're just explaining what happens in the movie.
Also, if you took out all the Rube Goldberg in this movie, it would be roughly 29 minutes long.
Oh boy, it's going to be fun covering the next Final Destination films.
Well, Rodney and What's-Her-Bolts are clearly graduates of the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things.
I don't really have anything to say about this Prometheus School of Running Away from Things sin. Mostly because I didn't really find it that interesting. Except I will say that What's-Her-Bolt's name is actually Cappy.
Fucking hell. 80% of the characters only exist to pad the runtime.
Just like 98% of the sins in your entire video roster?
Wow, Fender found his way into Attack of the Clones. Man, he falls apart more often than C-3PO. Hey, another Star Wars ripoff.
Arbitrary movie reference. Times 2.
This is so wrong.
Gender shaming.
Wouldn't you say the same thing as Fender if you put the wrong pair of legs on? Is that the weirdest thing I've ever asked? Maybe.
If we don't do something about Ratchet, no one will.
This is basically Bug's Life, but with robots. I mean, it's obviously a lot of movies, but with robots. But right now, it's particularly Bug's Life with robots.
Okay, but how is that a sin of this movie?
Know what I've done to get here? The lies I've told.
This sniveling goes on for way too much sometime.
Really? 20 seconds is too long for you?
The Wonderbot, designed to wash dishes quickly, ends up being the literal ex machina our heroes need here in the climax. And I'm about to climax myself from annoyance.
First off, gross. Secondly, this is not a Deus Ex Machina. Because A, Wonderbot doesn't come out of nowhere, and B, he doesn't immediately solve the problem.
Thank God this entire city is a Sonic the Hedgehog level.
Arbitrary video game reference.
Some unbelievable asinine bullshit. So Fender's sister does the Gandalf here and shows up at the last bit of the battle, but still in time to turn the tide for the good guys.
With an army. Before the battle even began.
Most of this whole final battle is a bunch of visual whatever.
What's your point?
Fender wins his portion of this ridiculous robot battle by dancing to Britney Spears? No, just no.
Know yourself, Jeremy. Sinning this scene for any reason at all. Bad Jeremy.
Dishwashing Wonderbot will now kick the villain's mother's butt, and I'm so f***ing tired of this movie I physically ache.
Objection opinion. It's not the movie's fault that you don't like watching movies.
Piper was left behind at Big Weld, and from there she raced back to her neighborhood to rally a small army of robots to fight for their right to spare parts. Yes, everyone pitches in for the big win, but without Piper, everyone else would be dead, and the movie does a terrible job of giving her the props she deserves.
Well, she didn't deliver the final blow to Madame Gasket, Ratchet, or his machines, and joined in on celebrating Rodney's victory, so maybe just leave it be for now.
Evil Mom falls into the fire, and Evil Son gets stripped of his upgrades, and that is all good stuff, needed stuff, but will someone please end this movie and put me out of my misery already?
Huh, Luke was right. You really don't like watching movies. Well, if that's the case, then why do you bother reviewing them? Just put it to rest.
If you can start off as a full-grown robot, why go through the trouble of the whole baby thing in the first place?
What? That's like asking someone to give birth and select the age of the child to already be 21. Why would anybody do that?
Is now my right-hand bot and my eventual successor.
All because he was the first to walk into an unlocked mansion where I used to live, and basically for no other reason. Capitalism!
Actually, it's because Rodney never gave up on Big Weld when he already had. That young spark of determination and a bright mind reignited his own drive and got him back into working at the company again. Also, he saved his life, defeated Gasket and Ratchet, and fixed several residents of Robot City. So of course Big Weld would be willing to bring Rodney onto the team for this, and make him the successor to the company.
Dad, you always wanted to be a musician. Now be one. For everyone to hear.
Well, what if he played piano or guitar? You just handed him a f***ed-up hybrid of a French horn and some alien bullshit trumpet, so you are asking the impossible is my point, dick.
Well, they didn't explicitly say what instrument Herb played, but I imagine that when Rodney and his parents went through photo albums, they would have seen a younger Herb playing this horn, and since that's what the movie is telling us he played, then that's what he played. And with that, court is adjourned. Be sure to leave any more suggestions for CinemaSins sins down below, and I will see you in the next video.